Hello, friends and family of Casey and Meg. Too loud? Too soft?
Hold it closer to your mouth.
Perfect.
Closer to my mouth. It is both an honor and a huge amount of pressure to be asked to give a toast at Casey's wedding. As Dan might have mentioned, Casey is the Michael Jordan of wedding toasters, so I'm adjusting expectations way down. Therefore, it is my goal to give you the Scottie Pippen of wedding toasters. I am the keeper of Casey's calendar, and so I've known Casey since November 3rd, 1997, 14 years. We had both just moved to San Jose after graduate school, along with Dan Guy. That's how I know her. Him. The three of us quickly bonded over our love of adventure, exercise, dressing up in costume, and playing Dungeons and Dragons.
No.
For real?
My speech. In that order, Dungeons and Dragons in class, Midnight Zima.
Tough there.
That was his name. He was an elf minus 12. Over the next year, focus people. Over the next year, Casey introduced us to his friend from Cal, Linda, and his friend from volleyball class, Dan, who just moved to the Bay Area for the .com gold rush. Get rich quick. Since that time, the five of us taken on the challenge of having the most fun five friends could have in one lifetime. I consider that day in November, 14 years ago, the fourth luckiest day of my life, because my life instantly transformed into one of happiness, joy, and laughter. You can guess what the other three are. My wife, my two kids.
That's all we're supposed to guess.
In the early years of what I now refer as the Fab Five friendship, the five of us focused 100% on having fun and going on adventures. Casey was a great facilitator for adventure because he found a way to spend every summer in an exotic location measuring some sort of endangered species. Be it dolphins in Spain or the world's largest rodent in the Amazon. True story. One year, he even got us all to go to Bisbee, Arizona to study fire-spitting circus hippies in their natural habitat. Wherever he was, the rest of us would find a way to meet up with him for some new epic adventure. During this period, it is fair to say that none of us were focused on marriage and family. Casey and I even spent a romantic weekend at a spa on a volcano in Costa Rica together.
Too far.
Because it was a super cool place, but neither of us wanted to wait to have a girlfriend to go with.
I don't even want to know any more about that.
You learned stuff in this. You ready for the next step?
No.
Yeah.
Of the five of us, Casey was by far the least adverse to marriage or the idea of marriage and family, which is ironic because he is now officially the last to get married. In 1999, we all thought there was no way we would ever want to slow down the adventure train for spouse or family. But over time, each of us realized that we were not, in fact, against marriage or family. We just needed to make sure that our marriage and our family experience be more extraordinary and fulfilling than the life on the adventure train.
Yeah.
We just each needed to find the right person to come along and knock our socks off. Spending a decade not looking for the one means it took a little bit of extra something to recognize the one when she came along. In my case, it was Casey that helped me realize what I had when I first started dating my wife, Anne. It was a typical June day in 2002. I was hanging out with Casey, describing the two girls I'd just gone on first dates with. The first I told him was a perfectly nice girl who I did not see a long-term fit. The other was Anne, who I described as an extraordinary woman that I immediately saw could make me happy the rest of my life, and I would probably marry. What should I do? I asked Casey sincerely. It was at that moment that Casey gave me advice that was at the same time the most profound of my life and the easiest of his life. To paraphrase, he said, "Well, I think you should date Ann." With a, "Are you listening to yourself?" Look on his face. Skip ahead to March 14th, 2008. 6 years later, Casey and I are hanging out at a bar at 3 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, as is typical for us. He was describing in detail Megan, an incredible woman he would not be able to start a relationship with because they worked at the same school. No. Megan joined us an hour later, and I could instantly tell that their relationship was going to happen. I have a sense about these things. Megan lights up a room, and more importantly, she lights up Casey. Once we were alone, Casey asked sincerely, "What should I do?" And I said, "Well, I think you should date Megan." With an eye, "Are you listening to yourself?" Skip ahead to tomorrow, July 3rd, 2011, which I will circle on my calendar for the rest of my life and remind Casey at appropriate times. July 3rd, 2011. And the circle will now finally be complete, and the Fab Five friendship will have become the Terrific 10 friendship with 4 kids and counting. In closing, Casey has been one of the most influential people in my life. To put it in perspective, Casey is as influential a person to me as, say, Al Gore is to Casey, or Aquaman, or Mother Nature. You see what I'm saying? Big time influence. Casey is the perfect combination of carefree Arizona wholesome and San Francisco wacky. Casey is my moral compass that can always count on him to do the right thing. I once witnessed Casey attempt a citizen's arrest on a homeless man who was assaulting a newspaper box in the Castro grade. I once also witnessed Casey attempt to give Jug, which is detention if you didn't go to Catholic school, which is like 1% of you. We're all together now? Okay. I once witnessed Casey attempt to give Jug to a kid on a remote beach in Hawaii who was in our campsite because he was too stoned to know there were even campsites. Kid was stoned, not Casey. It has been an honor and a privilege to be friends with Casey all these years. So today, I'm happy to see someone who has brought me so much personal happiness to be marrying someone who brings his happiness to another level. Thank you, Megan, for coming into Casey's life. And let's toast to Casey and Megan.
And he ad-libbed it. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Crystal.